A common trope in science fiction consists in juxtaposing humanity against other beings that are close to being human but not quite, such as aliens, machines, or androids. Such comparisons are often used to unveil particular qualities that either set humans apart from these non-humans, or else end up being something they have in common that allows them to identify with each other. What does it mean to be human? Philip K. Dick's novel, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, poses an answer to this question. Blade Runner, a film by Ridley Scott based on this book, offers what appears to be a completely different answer. Which is correct, and how does that impact how we interpret the nature of humanity? The basic premise revolves around androids, artificial humans created to perform humanity's grunt work. Both the book and the film follow the actions of Rick Deckard, a bounty hunter whose job is to hunt down and retire, that is kill, escaped androids who are illegally hiding on Earth. Androids look, sound, smell, feel, and taste exactly like real humans, but there is one important difference. They are emotionally stunted and thus lack empathy for others. Based on this principle, bounty hunters such as Rick Deckard can use the Voight-Kampff test to distinguish the real from the fake. It is generally understood that the emotions apparently displayed by the androids are a cheap imitation of real human emotions. However, at a casual glance, these emotions do appear to be genuine, and it is only through careful examination that they can be distinguished from the real deal. But why empathy? Why does Philip K. Dick fixate on this particular quality? Is empathy enough to set humanity apart from other animals, machines, and androids? At least, it is enough to set humans apart in the dark, overcrowded dystopian worlds of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep and Blade Runner. I will do my best to avoid specific details that may spoil either the book or the film if you have never read or watched them. I will spend a good deal of time discussing certain aspects of their endings, so I will probably spoil some things, though I will do my best to stick to generalizations and themes rather than specific plot points and twists that may affect your initial experience of either the book or the film. Within this dystopian, nearly post-apocalyptic world, empathy is the defining trait of humanity. In Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, this empathy is primarily expressed through care for animals and through the communal consciousness that is experienced through religion. Blade Runner, on the other hand, never mentions empathy explicitly, and certainly does not feature any religion. We are shown that the androids, or replicants as they are called in the film, are unhinged and generally lack the emotional depth and maturity of humans, which is exactly how the book portrays androids. However, we find out that in the world of Blade Runner, the only true difference between humans and replicants is their lifespan.
How long do I live?
It is explicitly stated that were replicants to live longer, they almost certainly would develop emotionally and would reach the refinement and maturity of normal human adults, such that the Voight-Kampff test would become ineffective, and it would be impossible to distinguish replicants from humans. Despite this, the replicants in the film often appear more human than the actual humans. Their fear, sadness, and affection have a vigor that is not shared by the human characters. This reveals a significant difference between the book and the film. Within the world of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, empathy is the defining trait of humanity, particularly empathy that is experienced through religion, and this is the primary difference between humans and androids. Because of this, androids are not considered to be human. The strength of empathy is such that, despite humanity's religion being uncovered as falsehood and lies, the fervor of humanity's faith in it is only strengthened. What is important is not facts, but rather a shared experience that allows humans to come to a deeper understanding of each other and arrive at truth that cannot be reached by reason, logic, or science. It can only be reached through spirituality and emotions. That is something the androids are incapable of understanding. On the other hand, the distinguishing factor between humans and replicants in Blade Runner is not a difference of quality, but rather a difference in quantity. Framing this difference in terminology borrowed from the book, replicants do possess empathy. They merely have it on a far less developed scale than humans. Unlike their android cousins, replicants are quite capable of acquiring and developing their empathy, provided that they live long enough. At the end of Blade Runner, Roy Batty, the leader of the escaped replicants, gives a speech. Here it would seem that Roy is arguing that his experiences and memories, as few as they are, make up for any emotional lack. He is a living thing with thoughts and feelings, however immature, so does that not count for something? Blade Runner arrives at the conclusion that replicants are indeed true humans. The only difference is were they born or grown in a factory. Of course, this is only fiction, but I think it is worthwhile to struggle with the ideas fiction deals with. Empathy is not the defining characteristic of humans. This is not what the book or the film are saying. Sociopaths lack empathy, as do many other people with various psychological conditions or other impairments. This doesn't mean that they cease to be human, rather they are humans who have an illness. In any sort of morally relevant sense, it is dangerous to claim that a lack of empathy is a lack of humanness, for then it is possible for someone to lose their humanness. We can speak of people acting inhumanely and lacking a general humanity, but we do not mean that they are not human. Having or lacking empathy is not enough to determine whether someone or something is human. That in part is what Blade Runner is getting at. It doesn't matter if you are deficient or lagging behind in empathy or anything else. You still get to be called human because you feel, have thoughts, dreams, and desires, and possess countless other qualities that do count as distinguishing characteristics of humanity. As the primary human character of the story, Rick Deckard carries the brunt of the comparison between humans and androids. His character arc follows different trajectories in the book and the film. In both, Deckard is tired and worn out by his line of work, but still willing to perform his job and hunt down androids. As the story progresses, he begins to be uncertain about the exact nature of the androids he is supposed to destroy. They are eerily similar to humans. In both the book and the film, he eventually is reaffirmed and gains a new appreciation of his life and purpose. In the book, he comes to recognize the true value of empathy after experiencing firsthand the deceptive, self-seeking, destructive behavior of the androids. In the film, however, Deckard arrives at a newfound appreciation of the nature of humanity and the varied forms it can take. His world is slowly turned upside down as he realizes everything he believed about the replicants is not quite true. There is more to them than meets the eye. Throughout the book and the film, Deckard is plagued by a sense of empathy for the androids he is tasked with retiring. In the film, his empathy is vindicated. The androids are deserving of his empathy because they are clearly human, which means he can have a true romance with Rachel, and he can feel true guilt after killing Zora. On the other hand, in the book, Deckard slowly loses his sense of empathy after he discovers how manipulative, self-seeking, and violent the androids become. In the very end, they even abandon their companions. Their own lack of empathy for others means that Deckard's empathy for them is fragile and eventually breaks down. In the end, they are not humans at all. At best, they are intricate machines that imitate humans to an astonishingly close degree. At worst, they are monsters that must be put down. There is no true possibility of romance between humans and androids in that world. In Blade Runner, it merely takes a difference in degree of emotions to separate humans from replicants, which allows the film to claim that replicants indeed are human. In Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, Philip K. Dick points to a more fundamental distinguishing factor, much more fundamental than empathy. Even humans can have defunct and corrupted capacities for empathy, but what truly sets them apart from androids is the mere existence of such capacity. Androids are only machines, and thus the scope of possible experience for them is limited by their programming. Humans, on the other hand, are able to ignore reason and logic, which often leads to trouble, but also opens up an entire world of possibilities that is forever beyond the reach of androids. For humans, reason and logic are mere tools, but for machines, reason and logic are insurmountable walls that determine what can and cannot be done. A machine cannot go against its programming, but a human can go against reason. In the end, the point Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep is trying to make is not that empathy is the defining feature of humanity, but rather it is our artistry, our compassion, all those things that foster community and allow humans to identify with each other, along with our empathy. That is what makes us truly human. There is no single necessary and sufficient quality that determines whether or not someone or something is human. Rather, it is our capacity to grow and change that sets us apart from the machines we create, even machines as complex and human-like as androids. In this regard, Blade Runner is in complete agreement. The difference between the book and the movie is that whether replicants are human is an entirely different question to whether androids are human. Ultimately, do androids dream of electric sheep and Blade Runner agree about what it means to be human? In a word, humanness cannot be reduced to any single attribute.